All right. So I'm about to share the screen. As you know, yesterday, what was the topic? What did we do yesterday? Who is going to tell me what did we do yesterday?
Shorter writing.
Okay, can we be a bit louder? Yes, we did shorter writing, which was for 400 words, and that was paper 2, section A. Today, I am introducing you paper 2, section B, which is called extended writing. So the agenda, the objective for today, I'm letting you know how you need to get a very good grade in your paper 2. This is all, obviously this has been written paper 2 section B, but I need to mention over here that it is going to be minimum. Section B, it carries 25 marks and minimum is going to be 600 words, and maximum it's going to range till 900 words. So you have to limit yourself till here or in between 620, or anywhere in between it should be ranging. It should not be less than 600, otherwise the examiner is going to mark you for an underdeveloped response. Okay, so that we need to be very careful about. Another thing that I need to work out with this style of a question, that extended writing means you are given over here, it can be descriptive. There are, these are the styles of writing which will be given. You need to choose any one style of writing. Choose any one style of writing. So it could be descriptive, it could be narrative, and it could be discursive. For example, you're discussing, or it could be argumentative. So these styles of uh, writing will be ranging, and you need to choose any one of the topics. So is this clear so far? For 25 marks, I will be given how much time duration? You will be provided exactly 1 hour for section B. So for section B, I will be given 1 hour to compose. The important thing over here is to understand it requires bit of knowledge and information. It's not only about writing good English. Yes, indeed, if you're accurate when it comes to narrative or descriptive, that's wonderful. But it has never happened that they have given all of the discursive topics, all of the argumentative topics. It's always a mix and blend of narrative with argumentative, or discursive with descriptive. So it's kind of like a mix and match with these styles of writing. The beginning of this lesson is based upon, I realize that since I've done with you some of the narrative, let me just look at the other side of the style of writing. Over here, you have any questions for me, please ask. I am expecting that you will have your notebook in front of you and you're writing some of the important points that I'm giving you right over here. You have any questions over here about 25 mark and minimum word count, which is 600, and maximum, which is 900? They're not asking you to write a 900. You should not take it as a threat. But if you can explore and become ambitious and, exercise more, experiment with your writing, then you should go for 900. Otherwise, stick to 600 bracket of the word count. Is this clear? This is for the first time. Yes. Yes, Aisha meme, I can describe you the discursive in this. For example, if I say, discuss the causes of stress among the teenagers, you're only discussing. Let me share the difference between the two different styles. Let me just share a document. I've stopped sharing the screen. Let me just tell you. So for instance, if you're looking at a question like this, the question says, discuss the causes of stress among the teenagers, among the teenagers, and you're giving examples and reasons. So this is going to be a discursive one. But if I say, do you believe? Do you believe that the teenagers have more tendency to develop stress as compared to adults? This is going to be your argumentative, because you're taking up a position. With argumentative, you have to take your stance. You have to take your position. So you will be writing more paragraphs that no, this is a scientific proven fact that teenagers have 75% of the more tendency to be inquisitive and curious, and they're exploring things new. So they have anxiety levels as compared to adults, because they have gone through that phase in life. So in argumentative, you have to take up the stance. Either you have to say yes or no. Over here, you are not taking up this stance, you are simply discussing. These are the possible reasons. You're not proposing any kind of solution with that. Okay, one of the students had already joined. Okay, miss, thank you for explaining. You got this idea. So what are we doing today? Shumeta has joined us. So let me just take you back to the topic. It is, yeah. So we are right over here. And as you can see, it says paper 2, which is my writing paper. It's called section B, extended writing. We call this extended writing, which is in contrast with your shorter writing. Shorter writing was 400 words. This is minimum 600 words. Choose any one, and I'm telling you that any type of these writing styles can be given to you, but you have a choice. You can choose any one. Total marks will be 25, and 1 hour will be given. So we have politician. Let's read the question in the first place. Okay, so can you just read the question? I would request let's say Shumeta, please read the question.
Two politicians are contesting an election in your region. The first
1 minute.
politician wishes.
Sorry, I need to clear it so that you can see properly. Yes, better. Sorry.
Two politicians are contesting an election in your region. The first politician wishes to appeal to older voters and the second to younger ones. Both publish their views and policies in the leaflets handed out to local people. Write the text of each leaflet between 300 to 450 words each. In your writing, create a sense of opposing attitudes and viewpoints.
Now you need to realize one thing. Let me underline and highlight some of the keywords. Two politicians. Let's say Shumeta is the candidate. Shumeta is going to position herself in the first speech, and her word limit is going to be minimum 300 words. And over here, this is a second speech, which she will be writing again for 300 words. So that will in total make 600. Every time such a question never comes. Why? Because this is a way to give you showing two contrasting ideas as how you can deal with two different set of audiences. Shumeta, in the first place, because she's one writer, but she is considering herself in this creative writing section, extended writing, in place of, in position of two politicians. So the first politician, through that perspective, you will be writing to appeal to older voters. Now, can anyone tell me what is the actual age bracket on which we consider older people? What is the age bracket? So this one is going to be, I'm waiting for the answer. You can write in the chat box also. This is a speech, okay? So what is the age bracket for older people? Yes, who is going to tell me?
Above 40.
She says above 40. Okay. Thank God I'm not yet 40, but I think you must have considered me quite old. No, I need some more answers. Please make a guess. Come on. All right, so let me just check. Okay, we have Mariam Motasam. Motasam has also joined us. Good. Okay, so we have 50 plus. Mariam is so close. Motasam, what are we asking? We are saying, what is the age bracket for old people? At what age you will consider a person old? You will say uncle old, aunt old. Aisha Meme says, Miss 60 plus. Indeed, congratulations. Your answer is right. Yes. So it is beta 60 plus. Old, right? Otherwise, we are till 45. From 45 till 59, we will say elderly. And old is considered 60 plus. All right. I think this is now your point is clear. So why Shumeta's name has been written, I think I need to make it one more time clear that you're sitting in the exam, but you have to write down with two perspectives. One, you need to address to the 60 plus age group of people. And then the second one, younger ones. So younger ones could be considered 18 plus because they are the only ones who will be given the right to vote. Less than 18, we don't allow anyone to cast the vote, right? That's the national level policy. Now, so 18 plus and 60 plus. So you're going to address. Now, can you please tell me before we read the sample, I have a question from you all. Why being I'm let's suppose that I am senior citizen. I'm not gonna say every time old, old, old. I'm gonna say I'm a senior citizen, I'm 60 plus. Why do you think I should cast vote for you? What is that first thing you're going to say as a politician to provide to the to the senior citizens? What do you think? I'm going to do one thing over here. We haven't started with the sample. Today is your time to think and ponder. So let us just get started. Okay, here we go. I need to cast a vote for you for 60 plus group of people. What benefits you would provide me as a politician? What benefit? You people have been an avid reader, so give me a guess. What is that first thing that should attract me as a 60-year-old woman? How should I be able to uh, be convinced in a manner that I should cast a vote for you? So what are you going to do? Your first bullet point. Bullet point 1 and 2. I just need 2 bullets. You may write in the chat box. You're thinking, you're critically thinking, that's wonderful. But please tell me, what do such people require at the age of 60? Hmm. Anyone? Mariam Fatma, Motasam, Aisha Amin. Better health services, maybe provide medicines and care. Yes, so health services is a bigger term. It's more generalized. So we're going to be more specific. For example, you're saying medicines and care. But if you write medicines and care in the first place, don't you think I need your suggestion, okay? Shameta, think closely about it. Motasam, think closely about it. Don't you think if in the first place you are talking about the hospitals or wheelchairs or anything providing medicines and care, you would tell them that you are only ill people, like you have a deteriorating health, and you are not taking them for anything else but only the medicines, right? So this should be a point, but not as your first point. So thank you for answering to this part. Let's have a quick look at the response. The speech. Okay. Politician 1. Do you have trouble deciding whose hands to put the fate of your city in? Be trouble no more, because the right choice is in your own hands. Metaphorically, through your vote, and literally through this leaflet, because you're, delivering a speech, and you are, distributing a lot of leaflets. So it's going to be a bit more engaging to show them through this leaflet. Alex Turner. Remember this name, and you'll never question the state of your city. I will work day and night to promote a healthy and productive society, and to stand up for what is right and to stand against what is wrong. About me, I have been a resident of Yorkshire for 35 years, and I know the ins and outs of this city better than anyone else. This is called the ultimate exaggeration. I lead an expanding nonprofit organization for basic healthcare rights known as Hold for Hope, that combats issues dealing with lack of resources when it comes to healthcare. I am an active participant in local reforms such as building of green areas, etc. Now, this point turns out to be a bit vague, but overall, it's a good start. A vote for me means some comprehensive bullet points have been given: free healthcare for senior citizens, trustful insurance policies. I stop right over here, and I want Mariam Fatma to please read from the third bullet point. From here, beta, till here.
Recreational parks in every neighborhood, more libraries and neighborhood societies to promote citizen socialization, cheaper bus fares, energy efficient housing. I know your needs and I have the necessary resources along with the dedicated team to provide them to you. All you are required to do is whatever that pleases you. I am here to listen to you, to respond to your queries, and to be of aid whenever you wish for it.
Okay, this is the last paragraph. Complete this last paragraph, beta.
I believe that a true city councillor is he who doesn't leave room for complaints, and my work will ascertain my assertions. The Yorkshire City Council needs people who are willing to sacrifice for local needs instead of political gains, and I am exactly what you need for preserving those essentials. You need to sit back and make this one right choice, and all other choices will be made for you in your best interest.
Do you actually think that this is a good overall speech, or you think no, there is a margin for improvement? Is there a margin for improvement? What do you think about this speech? Aisha, Meem, Shumeta, please share your voice. Please share your ideas. Is it a good speech? You know what makes a good speech? Now you think about it, because you need to be writing down a heading which says features of writing a speech. Features. There are characteristics to it. There are certain language features that we're going to look at, the style, the structure of it. So very quickly give the heading, which is, I'm inserting a page. Okay. So yeah, here we are. All right. So we are going to give the heading. I hope you're ready. Put up the date for today even. So let's go. We're going to give the heading which says features of speech writing. It's a spoken text. All right, you keep on writing along with me. It's a spoken text. The first thing that is going to be counted over here is the purpose of the speech. Who is my intended audience? For whom am I writing? Who is listening to me? Do I have a specific set of audience or do I have wider audience? So you have to mention wider audience, or you think you have a narrow set of audience. All right. What is the purpose? To persuade, right? The purpose of the speech is always to convince, to persuade. About what? Fill in the blank. All right. Number 3, what register do I need to use? What register? Is it going to be formal? Is it going to be an informal? Or is it going to be semi-formal? Because you're talking to the people with whom you need to build up the trust so that they can connect with you and they can trust you and they can cast a vote for you. So is it going to be an informal speech, a formal speech, or semi-formal speech? Come on, hurry up, tell me. Semi-formal is not absolutely purely ultra formal or formal. It's kind of like a bit chit-chatty, but you're being conversational, you're using contractions. Informal is like using slangs. Hey pal, hey buddy. The politician cannot speak like that. So is it formal? Who's gonna let me know? I need to highlight. Okay, Aisha Meme says that yes, indeed, it is going to be semi-formal, right? So these are certain points that I need to keep in mind. And then I'm going to think about tone. What is the tone? Tone is basically the voice of the writer. So you tell me what is going to be this tone. Voice. Is it going to be elated, happy, sad, what, serious, straightforward? What kind of the tone? Tone is basically the voice of the speaker. The tone has to be motivational, enthusiastic, isn't it? Enthusiastic, because you need to convince people, you need to persuade. In short, this stands P-I-R-T. So I would request you, but I, as in like hum isko, we're going to refer it to A, audience. So this is called with an acronym part. You need to remember this every time. This is an acronym for purpose, audience, register, and tone. With every single writing, you need to bear in your mind for whom are you writing, for what purpose you're writing, what basic style, register you would be following, and what voice you want to communicate. When I should read your speech, I should listen to you, and that should sound enthusiastic, okay? Then, some of the more features that we're going to look at. Is this clear so far? Is this clear? Can we be quick enough turning on our mic and just telling me so that I can pretty much quickly move on?
Yes.
No, that's
Okay.
clear.
Okay, thank you. Now we are moving on to some other features, all right? Some technical features. Speeches are nothing without exaggeration, all right? So exaggeration can be taken as the use of hyperbole. If you come across hyperbole or exaggeration, it means the same thing, which is overstatement. All right? Overstatement. I hope this is clear now. Next, we are moving on with which is called illusion. All right? It's not illusion, beta. This is illusion. You just read the speech, but you did not know the features which were being used in it. So I'm going to tell you what parts were missing. Now, when you're going to read the speech, you'll be able to understand, oh, that's the point where this person is lacking. So illusion are basically beta references. These are references. You must have seen the politicians quoting some biblical verses. John F. Kennedy, Martin Luther King. Have you ever heard any of their speeches? Martin Luther King, the most famous speech, I have a dream. Obama's speech, Qaeda Azam's speech, any speech that you have referred to, they would draw references from either Bible, right, or any other holy book. I have to mention this because in your exam paper, one of the speeches had been given by Jawaharlal Nehru, and he was talking. He was delivering the speech at the demise of Gandhi. So they were making use of their own holy scripture. So why allusions are used? We call them also biblical allusions because we are dealing with English language. What is the main purpose for it? The purpose is to be more I mean, nobody should have any doubt. You sound more authoritative, all right? And you sound more, you're supporting your statements with these biblical allusions, plus communicating more convincing attitude. So I've written over here convincing, with more convincing attitude, so nobody can doubt your credibility. You must have heard our Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan. You know, he quotes a lot of times Hazrat Ali Razi Allah Ta'ala anha. So all the time they, you know, his facts are supported some way or the other way with the Islamic teachings or some or the other way. So it's more motivational. I hope this point is clear. Next, we are moving towards an alliteration. Now, this is an optional, but yes, if you're using alliteration, what do we mean by alliteration? Um, if you are using two sounds, let's say two same sounds, okay? Using two same sounds at the beginning of each word, at the beginning of each word, this is called alliteration. All right. For instance, the word is scorching sun. So you look over here, the two words start. It can be two or more words also, but the minimum criteria for alliteration is using two sounds at the beginning of each word. So it's the sound like the alphabet. Okay, just to make you understand the concept, I would like to tell you that, is this an alliteration? Is this an alliteration? Yes or no?
No, miss.
Why?
Because the sound is different.
They sound different, right? They sound absolutely different. So this is not an alliteration, but yes, indeed. So yes, so we can have alliteration. Is this concept clear? Let's move on to another point, which is about, okay, exaggeration is done. Now, you need to look at some more elements in the speech. And this is called, beta, tricolon. What do we mean by tricolon? If the same word, if the same word is repeated thrice, if the same word is repeated thrice in a longer sentence, which can be a complex sentence, in a longer sentence, it is called tricolon. For example, Barack Obama's victory speech, he says, on this day, at this moment, at this very hour, America has won. Tricolon main function is to retrieve a round of applause from the audiences. It retrieves the round of applause from the audiences. It's almost like a dramatic pause which is given, um, and hold the attention. A tricolon best works when it is written in the body paragraph. So if the same word is repeated on this day, at this moment, so this is repeated thrice within the same complex sentence. All right. Um, there is one more speech. For example, the first ever selected woman prime minister in Australia, and she is walking into the House of Representatives, and she has to tackle right over there with her opponent, and Mr. Tony. So he was sitting right over there. So there was something that really bothered her, the way they were addressing constantly and calling out, basically challenging the parties. So she said, this man, which is sitting across the table, this person, and it's not always about this, but yes, she used in a longer sentence and in the most stiff manner, she used a tricolon. It works brilliantly to bring about a dramatic climactic part of your speech. I hope this is clear. Tri means three, colon, expression set off, and that's how it's going to be looked at. So tricolon is clear. Another thing that we look at is the use of idiom. For example, if you come across idiom plus any sort of like rhetorical question or questions, are you afraid to tackle the bull by its horns? Are you afraid? Are you afraid to tackle the bull by its horns? To tackle the bull by its horns? Question mark. Now this is basically an idiom. At the same time, it's a rhetorical question. It means, are you afraid to handle the problem? Are you afraid to tackle the situation? And this has been used by a South African, you don't have to remember, but I'm telling you from the past papers, right? This people of color, black community, they're representing, and they're delivering. They're basically provoking and motivating with a lot more enthusiasm and energizing the audiences that we as a nation are so resourceful. We should not be dependent upon the western side of the world. So he's more like asking them to be awake and alive and don't rely or don't depend. So idiom you can easily identify. What I'm doing by giving you these features, I'm trying to tackle two questions. Speech as a text is given in paper 1, it's given in paper 2. In paper 2, it comes as a choice. In paper 1, it may not be given as a choice because the question will be given. Paper 1 is about beta reading paper. The speech will be in front of you. Motasam, Aisha Amin, Shumeta, the speech will be in front of me, and the examiner will ask me, all right, beta, you identify idiom, rhetorical question, try, colon. So you need to identify in paper 1. Over here, you need to compose the speech yourself if you choose it. If you choose it, it's an option. Okay, compose it by keeping most of the features, not all, by using most of the features. Like the examiner would want you to use exaggeration, he would want you or she might want you to use perhaps an idiom. So in this way we are tackling two questions. However, you must learn the feature. You must know, not in the same set of order. You may, but you do know, all right? In a speech, we have this, we have this, we have this. All right? Is it clear? Is it clear?
Yes, miss.
Okay. Now, one more thing that we are looking at when it comes to speech is basically the style of the text. You have your personality statement, right? You have your own personal statement, how you dress up, how you look like when you're leaving from home, you need to go to college, you always follow a certain, I'm not talking about the style as in the fashionable way, but there's something that defines you. Do you think in a speech we have shorter paragraphs or we have longer paragraphs? Do you think that we have shorter paragraphs or we have longer paragraphs? Mostly in the speeches.
Miss Short.
Shorter paragraphs. So we're gonna tick mark this. I'm not saying it is, but all the speeches that you will come across will have shorter paragraphs. So Charlie Chaplin, the comedian, and he, for the first time and the last time, he communicated only one speech during the time when it was World War II. So you may realize that his speech is all about shorter paragraphs. Why do we have shorter paragraphs? Because we can give a variety, a plethora of different ideas or perhaps different issues that you're trying to raise in your speech. So you need to have a variety of points. People should not be just listening to one set of idea. Then I have already talked about exaggeration, right? um, you also have a combination of simple, compound, and complex sentences structures. So I'm just going to add one more. How many total features have we written? Can you please count it, starting after the tone? How many? How many features have we written? How many features have we written, beta? Are we counting? Please count it very quickly. Then you have
Miss,
some
I think
simple.
5 to 6.
All right. Then we have simple, compound, or complex sentences. All right. Complex sentences giving you more dramatic, um, it's a more dramatic tension, or you can say it escalates your idea. Compound sentences are mostly used to build up the information, to build up the information. You add and, conjunction, you add but, you add because, all those fanboys. And simple sentences always add some crispness to the ideas. All right, crispness as in like they're short and crisp, and they are, let's say, it says hope, full stop, that we live to this day to face our hope. So hope, the very first word that is used, like hope, full stop. Do we have hope? And then you're repeating, all right? Question mark. So this would turn out to be the crisp idea of the text, perhaps. Compound sentences, building up the information, building up the momentum, the pace of the speech. So how do you know? How do you know that the pace of the speech, the pace of the speech happens to be fast, steady, or slow? It will become slow if you come across a bit longer para, because a lot of details have been given and you're just sticking on to one point. You are dealing with one point, one idea, and the momentum, the speech kind of slows down. It becomes steady. You realize that, okay, some of the sentences are longer and then some of them are shorter. It will turn out to be fast. it will turn out to be fast if you have precision of details. All right, precision of details. It was fast and quick when the candidate expressed all the points in bullet points 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in the text, and then steady, which means not fast. So it's a combination of both. One more thing which can slow down the pace of the speech is its heavy punctuation, or let's say, oh, the paragraph is tightly punctuated, because it gives me a pause every now and then. All right? Longer paragraphs give dense details. They give dense, thick details. So that somehow, like, it slows down the process of my speech also. And um, technically, in a speech, like where Jawaharlal Nehru is talking about, he uses Bapu as the word for, as a term for Gandhi, and he talks about, he plays around with the two symbols. So the next point that we are discussing is about the use of symbolism. Sometimes you will come across speeches which have, they will play with the element of light and darkness. That means symbolism will be taking its birth from the images, like image, visual image, light or dark. All right. So he also makes reference to light as in the sun, and then darkness as in the hopelessness. So it depends how visual image is symbolically interpreted. Can you give me one example? Can you give me one example of any symbol? Perhaps, can anyone tell me, what do you think that red color symbolizes? Red color symbolizes. We have multiple interpretation. Can you give me at least two, beta? At least two. Red is the color of what? Ambulances have red sirens. What is it symbolic of? What? Why do they have red sirens? Think.
Alertness, maybe.
Come again, beta. Can you speak a bit louder?
Alertness.
Alertness, indeed. There's an emergency and it calls out for alertness. And then red color also symbolizes love, and we have over here red. I mean, in case it can symbolize blood, it can be considered as alarming. So it depends. So you have to see, you know, if there is a coal mine, if there is a coal mine, then it will be the symbol of darkness, right? So it's a symbol of hell if someone calls it a hell. So you will be using these, some of the features. I hope um, that you are definitely taking care of the points, specifically when it comes to the crispness, the building up of the information, dramatic tension and hope, and all of this. So a little bit of background is also required when it comes to the understanding. Now let's have a quick look. Are the features clear? Is there one feature or two that you want me to explain you again? Please let me know.
Miss, there's something I want to discuss.
Mm-hmm. Is this Shumeta or Mariam? Please tell your
Um,
name. Yes, beta Shumeta.
um, Miss, about the exaggeration point,
Mm-hmm.
how can this appeal the audience? I mean, wouldn't it create lack of credibility of the person speaking?
When people deliver the speech, they have to claim, and they have to make their claim really hard, like promising tone, welcoming tone, that I am welcoming you all as a politician. You have to, as if you always exaggerate to emotively. Okay, let's discuss. Thank you for asking this question. Um, Before I had to move on with the next topic. Okay, so she is asking me exaggeration might show the lackness, I mean, kind of lacking in their credibility, some sort of. So, yes, exaggeration is another way to emphasize by, um, you know, by giving an elaborate, or let's say an elongating detail. Why? Because they are creating a pitch for the audience. So it has to be, they believe. You're right in a way that, that also shows that they are missing out on something. That's why they are just constantly going out round and round about that idea. But exaggeration is somewhat related with, these emotively charged language also. Exaggeration is a part of emotively charged language, you know, which has to be appealing by all means. You have to touch the heart of your audiences when it comes to delivering a speech, appealing the audiences. What do I mean by emotively charged language? They're not saying you people are all beautiful. They never say that. I mean, this is not what I mean by emotively charged language. It could be the use of the metaphor. It could be the use of sounding more elated and expressing their emotions also. So it's always like a connection, you know, connecting with the audiences by giving an anecdote, perhaps a little point about, how my family, or my ancestors had served the nation. It's always like giving you some sort of an emotional release, an emotional expression. So that's how we're going to look at some of the points. Explain the crisp one more time. Yes, Aisha, I can. Thank you for asking these questions. Dekho, there is a difference between crisp sentence and clipped sentence. I did not describe you what do we mean by clipped and crisp. So let me show you the differentiation in between. So a crisp expression is usually limited from, I mean, it's one word to three words. It gives you the best sentence variety. It holds a magical quality to, hold the reader's attention. One word to three words, it can range. And then there is a full stop. A clipped expression, a clipped sentence, you must have seen when you're reading up a novel, when you're reading speeches, there is a paragraph and there is a one line statement which is standing out in between the paragraphs. One line statement standing out in between the paragraphs. It's a paragraph, but for one line. That is called a clip sentence. I'm going to give you some more examples in the real context so that you have more idea how you can understand crisp expression and clipped sentence. And when you're using it or when you're identifying it, it is so satisfying because you're reaching the height of a professional writer. Um, and one thing that you must not forget, which is called using contractions. It's basically all about using oral skills. People, when they deliver speech, they use contractions. They never say I am, they will say I'm. But please understand, I'm asking to use contractions and not short forms. Short forms are not allowed. For example, like this, and, or, between, like all of these, it's not allowed. We're talking about contractions, so you can use because we are showing oral skills. So this lesson is going to be continued. I'm done with the features. We have come to the end of the lesson. I'm going to be continuing showing you And I am posting on my WhatsApp group as well the samples that the speech has been given. So you can read it by yourself, you can identify, and we're going to grade and mark. And I will tell you how you can ace your grade writing on a speech. All right, that's it for today. Thank you so much. Revise your lesson on daily basis. That is going to really help you. Marked your attendance: Aisha Meem, Motasam, Shiza Mirza, Shumeta, and Mariam was there. I don't know, she has just been missed out maybe. So thank you. That's it for today. Allah Hafiz.